Welcome back, guys. Today, I want to show you guys how to do a pretty much financial report, or pretty much how I do my own financial report. This could be your budget report, whatever you want to call it. But I want to go through and show you how I budget, how I track my expenses, and then how I bring it all together to kind of see how I'm doing. Now, I'm going to use my real numbers, but another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put things in terms of percentages because we all have different incomes, different expenses, cost of livings, etc. So I'm going to use the percentages so then you could take those percentages, compare them to your numbers, and then you can compare that way. Now, I never really suggest comparing because we all live different lives and you have to find your own personal system, but this could at least give you some sort of benchmark because I consider myself doing pretty well financially and I have a pretty good management of my money. So if you are around the same place I am, then you should be okay. I think another thing that the percentages do is sometimes we can get, caught up or blow things out of proportion. How much are we eating out? How much do we spend on groceries? Things like that. Then we come down and we look at the percentage of your income versus the percentage of what you're spending, and you realize it's not that big of a deal. So that's another thing that I want you to look at when you're looking at my percentages. So I've been on this personal finance journey of mine for about 3 years. And in the beginning, I started budgeting weekly because I had to learn how to do it. And then I started budgeting monthly, and that took some time. There was ups and downs, and I learned a bunch of things. At this point, 3 years in, I'm budgeting quarterly because I pretty much have the same exact amount of spending every single month. I have the same amount of income. Everything is pretty consistent, so I can look at that things on a quarterly basis. So I'm not saying that you have to. You can use these techniques whether you're doing it weekly, monthly, whatever you want. But for me personally, right now, I'm on a quarterly basis. So essentially, I'm like a business. I think of my income and my family's income like a business. I take a quarterly report. Were we profitable? Did we have a loss? And if so, what were some things that we need to look at? That's why we want to do this financial report. Not to beat ourselves up, not to get mad at ourselves, not to get mad at your spouse, but just to see the things that you're doing right and continue to do them, and the things you're doing wrong so that you can fix them for quarter 2, quarter 3, month 2, whatever you want to do. All right, so let's dive down into my computer right now. I'll show you exactly, we'll go spreadsheet by spreadsheet. I'll tell you exactly what we're doing. If you have any questions about it, you just leave them in the comments below or shoot me an email and I'll get back to you. Okay, guys, so here's my quarter 1 budget. All right, it has all my expenses that I planned for the month, and then I just multiply them by 3 to give me kind of a 3-month kind of idea. February's a little different, shorter month, not that big of a deal. But I have a pretty standard budget. I don't really spend outside my means at this point, 3 years. Everything is pretty fixed and consistent every single month. I'll talk about some things that change. My mortgage, okay, $24.48, that does not include my escrow, and it does not include my property insurance. I do not include those in my escrow account. I pay them myself. I'm not a fan of escrow. If you're curious about that, let me know in the description. I'll make a video of why I don't really want an escrow account, but that is strictly just my mortgage. I have a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. I just refinanced and got that thing down, I think under 3%. So I'm super happy. That's why I have such a high mortgage, because I do have that 15-year. My daycare, which was a major change for me, which we're going to see, $15.25. Groceries, $700, family of 4. We eat pretty much in every single meal, and that's eating out. And I'm going to get to eating out because I know that's a big thing for people, talking about how we can't eat out when we're on a personal finance journey. My gas, Tara's lease, that is now up in Q1, so we'll never see that again. My auto insurance, wedding stuff. My brothers were going to be getting married, a couple friends, so we had to budget some things for showers and dresses and things like that. My utilities, cell phones, unexpected spending, that's just stuff that comes up, guys. Things come up. Always budget some like flexibility. Call it what you want, a little bit over, a little bit under. That's fine. It's not that big of a deal. My pets, my internet, I do not have cable. I just have internet and I stream things, as you'll see. My water, that's my water bill for the house. And also we don't have drinking water out of the faucets, so we have to buy Poland Spring water and things like that. Street parking is the name of the fitness program that Tara follows. Zwift is the name of the fitness program that I follow. And then we stream Netflix, and we also stream Disney Plus. And you can see right now with our Q1 total, that looks like we're going to have to spend about $19,448. Now on the income side, out of respect for my wife and my business partners and things like that, I didn't want to show you the details of that just yet. It's a little personal, but my total estimated income after tax. So this is post-tax after I pay taxes on everything for my side hustles, my teaching jobs, and other things like that. $34,701.63. So that means that my expenses would be about 56% of my income, well, for a savings rate of just under 44% of a savings rate, which I'm okay with right now with 2 young kids and daycare and still getting my feet under me after getting out of debt. I think that'd be okay with that. So that'd be a planned net profit of $15,253 for the entire quarter. Now that $15,000 is things that I would put into sinking funds, into Roth IRAs, things like that, investments. I'm thinking about real estate, so I'm saving up for that. So that's where that net $15,000 would go if I was indeed profitable for the first quarter. The next slide can seem a little intimidating here. And what this is this is every single account that I spend money with. Okay. And it starts over here with my checking account. And then these are all of my credit cards. Okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 credit cards currently working. And I know that some of you are not a fan of credit cards. In the beginning of my personal finance journey, I was not able to use credit cards. They made me spend outside my means, all the things that you hear bad about them. But now, a couple years in, I got them under control, and I'll show you the different things that I use credit cards for, and you'll see I don't really use them outside of my normal spending. I don't keep them in my pocket. They're all just automatic spending things. Now, this right here can seem like a lot of work, and I'll tell you, making this spreadsheet alone took me about 10 minutes. All you need to do is go onto your credit card, your bank, whatever, and you can download all of your transactions, all right? So what I did was I took all of my transactions, I downloaded them to a spreadsheet, I just copy and pasted them in here, and then you could sort them by columns. I have everything, this one, beer, wine, gas, cell phone, groceries, all right? Things like that, I just sorted them. Now, once I have a picture of this, what this allowed me to do is it allowed me to see how much I spend on each credit card. So I know about how many reward points I have on each credit card and if I've hit my bonus, my sign-on bonus and things like that. So you can see this was a card right here that I had had for a while, so I don't really use it that much. Where my newest cards, you can see, is the Business Inc. card. That's the bonus I was trying to hit. It had the most transactions here. I put almost $8,000 on that card in Q1. Now to organize this a little bit further, now I take all of those, I copy and paste them all into one spreadsheet, and then I sort them all together, and then I can put them back into my budget categories. So right here is all of those transactions. So it looks like in this quarter, I had about 250 transactions through my 4 credit cards and my checking account, and I have them all sorted into different categories. Now, these are going to be a little bit different than my budgeted categories because I combine things like pets and things like that, but you'll see I have them in alphabetical order here: beer and wine, gas for my cars, my cell phone, I have daycare, eating out, groceries, ton of grocery bills on here, health and fitness, super important, education, all the things for my kids, my mortgage, etc. And what I do is I sort them now into this table right here. All these transactions just get sorted right here into this. So for daycare, that's my number one spending. 21% of my income went to daycare. And I sorted this out per day so I could kind of see. Daycare, just about $8,000 total for the quarter. It cost me $85 a day to have daycare for my 2 children full time. And this is also just under 30% of the amount of money that I spend. So take all of the money I spend, 30% of that is right there on daycare. A third of all the money I spend is on daycare. And just under that is my mortgage. So you can see over 50% of the money that I spend is just on daycare and my mortgage. Now, looking at this table, there's one thing that I really want to point out, and it's how fast the percentage of the money you spent and the percentage of the money you earned, how fast that falls off once you get past the big things, your 4 walls. For me, daycare is like a 5th wall, but if you look, I have daycare, my mortgage, grocery, how I get to work, and my insurance. Everything under that I spend is 5% or less of my income, all right? So people would say, wow, you spend $205 on wine and beer. My wife and I, we like to have a glass of wine with dinner. We are those types of people. I know some people don't drink. We like a glass of wine with dinner. I like a couple beers at happy hour, and those are all done at home. We spend about $2.25 a day on beer and wine. We're okay with that. That's something that's valuable to us. And that's only 0.56% of the amount of income we have. All right, so that's not really a big deal for us, and it's less than 0.25% of all the money I spend. So think of things like that when you're thinking, I have to cut out coffee and I have to cut out my gym membership. Not really, not that much. If you look at my health and fitness, I spend over almost $100 a month on health and fitness, my gym memberships and things like that. And it's less than 1% of the money I spend. And it's less than 0.25% of my income. So when you're budgeting, all right, and when you're trying to cut down on things, look at the big items, all right? Groceries, your mortgage or your rent or cars, things like that. Those are the things that are really going to turn the needle when it comes to changing your financial freedom. Don't worry so much about these little tiny items that don't mean that much. My TV, I spend, with all my streaming services, $38 a month, $1.32 a day, not that big of a deal. So for me, it looks like I spent $27,359. That's $9,119 per month, or almost $300 a day. It takes me $300 a day for my family of 4 to live, less than $100 per person if you look at it like that. And I used up 74% of my income. And there was a savings rate there of 25%. Now, what happened? We're going to see some major changes in where I went over, and a big one was daycare. We were not planning on having my son in daycare because he was on a waiting list. Well, that waiting list got cleared up and he got a spot in Q1, which pretty much doubled our daycare bill. So our daycare bill went from an expected $1,200 up to $2,400 every single month. So that was a really, really big deal for us. Also, you'll see my pets. My dog had to have a little bit of treatments done. We were way over budget for that. And there were some other things that came across that raised that money up and lowered our savings rate. Savings rate of 25%, we're still well above the national average, but we're okay. So now what I want to show you is this table as well as the first table, and kind of like bring it all into summary and also show you my investments. So here are those first two tables that are kind of combined, and we can see down here on the bottom left, I planned on netting $15,000. I actually only netted $9,481. Still profitable, right? Still did okay. If I was a business, I'm still okay. Not as planned, but like I said, some things really came up. My mortgage, I planned $73, it was $73. Daycare was almost $3,000 more than I planned. Groceries was only $300 more than I planned, not that big of a deal. Eating out, guys, eating out doesn't mean we go to restaurants, okay? What it means is sometimes we order food in if it's convenient for us and it helps the family. For example, I get caught working late or something like that. My wife can't juggle 2 kids and cook dinner. So we'll get Chipotle. But you want to know what? $20 at Chipotle for the amount of food that we get and how we cut it up. I couldn't go to the store and buy all those things to make that amount of meal for the similar price. So sometimes eating out is a necessity, guys. I'm not saying we go out to the Cheesecake Factory and we don't go out to happy hours and things like that. But sometimes we order in from restaurants because we need to and because it makes our life better. It adds value. I'm not going to tell my wife, hey, I'm working late, take care of the kids by yourself and cook me a dinner. Like that can't fly. That's not real life, and that's not going to be long-term sustainable. My homeowner's insurance, I wasn't planning on paying that just yet, but with that refi that I just talked about, my mortgage, I needed to update my insurance, so I had to spend, that's $1,500 more I wasn't planning on spending. My kids, this is everything from food to clothes to diapers, everything that we need for the kids. Gas and cars is actually going to go down. Utilities ended up being a lot more than I previously expected, almost double. I'm in a new house this winter. I had no idea. It was cold. I screwed that up. Something I have to learn, That's okay. You're allowed to take those lumps. I just severely underestimated how much it was going to cost me to keep the house warm and things like that. And we do a lot of cooking inside. And now with the kids, we're doing a lot more loads of laundry, which is drier. Like, that's just something that we had to learn. Education. Now that we're home with all this time, I'm spending my time wisely. We invested in some classes. Tara and I, lifelong learners, and that's fine. Always invest in yourself. $300. We just bought some things for ourselves that we can learn online and, up our intelligence and just keep our mind sharp while we're not at work right now. So down here is kind of that summary, that final table. I took home more money as well. I took home $36,841. So it's about $12,280 take home. That means I make about $404 every single day. And if you remember, I spend about $300. So every single day I'm netting about $104. The rest of this money that's offset from this goes into sinking funds. Those are things, like I said, real estate, Tara's car, which we just bought, the weddings that we have coming up, Christmas, summer. We have all those sinking funds. That's where this $9,000 went in. Our investments for this quarter were as follows. We made tax-deferred investments of $12,579, which is pretty awesome. That's $698, $700 a month, and almost $23 a day. And that's only going to go up and up and up. Now that we're debt-free, we've been slowly increasing that. And then, like I said, with that hit of daycare, that hit us for almost double. Those were planned to be investments. It's okay. We'll figure it out. I'll take $12,000 invested over the quarter. And my forced investments was $3,176. That's what Tara and I need to put into our pension. We don't have any other options for doing that. And that's pretty much it. Now I'll take this. I'll learn from it. I'll learn about heat, utilities, and things like that. I'll move forward. I'll make my Q2 budget, and I'll do the exact same process over again. What I'll do probably is I'll take a screenshot of just this, keep it as a PDF, put it in my budgeting file so that next year, Q1, I can go back and look at it as well. If this helped you and you learned something, guys, please give the video a thumbs up. It tells YouTube, that this was pretty good content and that others might want to watch it. Until I see you guys on the next one, stay positive, work really, really hard. Always be kind to other people. Hope you have yourself an amazing day and an even better tomorrow.